Hey guys, it is day 169 in our Bible reading plan, and today we're reading in the book of Proverbs, Proverbs 27, 28, and 29. I love the book of Proverbs. It's one of my favorite books, and I was reflecting on the difference between the Proverbs and the Psalms today, and just remembering, the Proverbs are wisdom literature. They are great advice. They're deep insight into the human condition, into ways that we can live our lives according to the things that please the Lord. And it could be really easy as we're reading through this to start to sort of develop a checklist or a to-do or a list of rules and regulations. And that's really not what this is meant to do. This is really meant to be a time where as we read through these things, we're meant to examine our hearts and our motivations and our actions. And so I just want to remind you as you're reading through these things to really take the time as you're reading to pray that the Lord would show you what's in your heart, what you need to hear from Him today. And then to take the time as you're reading through these Proverbs to read them slowly and to let them sink in and see where God would lead you. As I was reading through the Proverbs today, a couple of verses really stood out to me. In chapter 27, verse 19 says, "As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart." And then in chapter 28, verse 14 says, "Blessed is the one who always trembles before God. Whoever hardens their hearts falls into trouble." And chapter 29, verse 25 says, "Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe." And there's so many times as I was reading through this, especially chapter 29, verse 25, that fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. It just reminded me of all the times that I have, instead of trusting in God, I have been reactive in situations where I've allowed my fear to dictate my response to other people or to situations, my fear of losing a relationship or my fear of hurting someone's feelings or my fear of losing something important to me, to dictate how I respond or how I react in those moments, when if I had just placed my trust in the Lord, He would be the one to take care of me. He would be the one that I was trusting to be in charge in that moment, because ultimately it's His will and His purpose, regardless of what I do. But the process and the journey for me could have been much different in those moments. And as I was reading chapter 27 and 19, and I'm reflecting on all of the readings today, where it says, "As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart," it really prompted me to ask this question: does my life reflect a heart that really trusts God? Does my heart reflect a life that really trusts the Lord? And I was thinking about it, if you look at the trajectory of one's life, then overarching, I would say, yes, I can answer that wholeheartedly. Yeah, my life overall would reflect the life of a person who's trusting in the Lord. And then I had to ask, how about my days? If I was to reflect on my life and what it looks like each day, would I find a life that reflects that kind of trust in the Lord? Chapter 28, verse 14 said, "Blessed is the one who always trembles before God, but whoever hardens their heart falls into trouble." And I had to ask myself, how many times throughout the day do I lean on my own understanding instead of turning to the Lord and trusting Him? Do I keep a soft heart toward the Lord in times of trouble? The Bible says that Jesus has given us hearts of flesh, that we had hearts of stone, and that He came in His forgiveness and His love and His mercy, He's restored us to right relationship with the Father. Our hardened hearts that once turned from the Lord have been made soft so that we turn to Him. And so in those hard moments, do I allow my heart to become hard, or do I choose to trust the Lord and turn to Him and continue walking with Him so that my life overall will reflect a life that trusts Him? Well, that's what stood out to me. Those are the questions I'm asking today. I would encourage you to ask the same, and I would encourage you also that if the Lord's speaking something different to you in this, to take the time and pray through those things and spend some time in reflection today. I'd love to hear how God's speaking to you through these verses, and I hope you have a blessed day.